Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Hi.
So today we have with us Ridhi Dev, ma'am. She is a clinical psychologist. She has done her MPhil in clinical psychology from the Institute of Psychiatry with post-graduation and graduation in psychology from Calcutta and Mumbai University respectively. Ma'am, do you want to add something?
Well, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to our conversation today.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, firstly, I want to know what is the difference between psychology and psychiatry.
Okay. So, do you mean psychologist and
Yeah,
psychiatrist?
yeah.
Okay. So, psychiatrists are basically doctors who prescribe medication, while psychologists and clinical psychologists are mental health professionals, okay, who deal in psychotherapy, who help in having conversations or treating individuals with psychotherapy. Now, a clinical psychologist like me will have an MPhil, while a psychologist will have their master's as their degree in psychology.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, how can we become a psychologist?
Okay. Well, we can become psychologists by pursuing graduation and masters in psychology, in clinical psychology, or developmental psychology, depending upon my interest. But yes, psychology needs to be in my masters for me to call myself as a psychologist.
Basically, you have to go through the arts field.
Yes, definitely arts field. But now there are many universities who actually call it BA and BSc as well. So in some universities, you consider it as a BA in psychology, while some of them consider it as a BSc in psychology.
And what is the basic difference in this?
Not much difference, actually. Not much.
Ma'am, do you think proper mental health is necessary in this situation of pandemic?
Could you repeat your question? I couldn't hear you.
Due to this pandemic situation, do you think mental health is a necessary factor? As we all know, there is a taboo that mental health is nothing until and unless we are physically fit.
Well, I think mental health is as equal as physical health, and we need to give it as much importance as we give to physical health. Now, mental health affects our the way we think, the way we act, and the way we feel. It also helps us in dealing with our adversities too, and coping with different situations, especially these times, and also with effective decision making. For a fact, Ankit, our mental health also affects our physical well-being. Say, for example, our sleep, our motivation, even our energy.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, how can we realize that we are going through depression or anxiety? Is there any symptoms of that?
Sure. So, depression and anxiety are psychiatric disorders. Okay. Now, depression and it will come up in individuals with different symptoms of it. Okay. Say, for example, sadness is one symptom of depression, but there are other symptoms of it too. For example, could be reduced interest in pleasurable activities. Say, for example, liking studying but not being able to do it right now, reduced energy, reduced sleep, decrease in appetite, feelings of hopelessness and helplessness, suicidal feelings or death wishes, some of the symptoms of depression.
How do we differentiate that we are going through a low mood or it is the depression or anxiety?
Okay, so Ankit, there's a basic thing. Depression is a disorder. So sadness is not just one symptom of it. There are more symptoms to sadness to constitute it as a depression. While sadness is like a basic feeling, it's an emotion.
Okay, ma'am, means how much period we should wait before seeing a psychiatrist or psychologist? Means and what should be our approach? Means we should go first to a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
Okay, so there is no particular approach that you can either approach a psychiatrist or a psychologist. You can approach either of them. That's according to your choice. At the same time, if you're feeling like this sadness is persisting for quite some time and it's affecting my personal being, my social interactions, and my physical aspects too. So then it's rather hampering my work culture too. So then we know my overall functionality is reduced. Then I would definitely consult with a mental health professional.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, should be our general approach toward these patients who are going through depression, anxiety, or this type of situation?
Okay. What do you mean by general approach? Are you talking about how we deal with them?
Yeah, how to deal with it?
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about my approach, how I deal with clients of sort. So mine is a very collaborative approach. I believe that clients are experts of their lives. They know much better about themselves than what I know about them. So I'm just there to guide and navigate them through that process. At the same time, also giving them space, a very safe space where they can express their mental health concerns without any biases or stigma, creating a non-judgmental environment wherein they can talk about their deep concerns, and then we take it forward, accepting negative and positive feelings. That only positive feelings are
Okay.
accepted, negative feelings cannot be there. We do want to accept them, the existence of them.
Ma'am, how do you want to say that students to stay mentally fit or mentally strong in this type of situation which you are going through?
Okay. I think not mentally strong, but rather resilient. Let's talk about resilience. Resilience is more about, so we are accepting that yes, we can feel sadness, we can feel tension, and that's okay too. But let me try and see how I can manage through this. That is resilience. Let me try and get back to the situation, and then let me see what I can do. What are my coping resources? So, for example, for students, I would definitely suggest to take a break when I am going through overwhelming feelings, when things are getting difficult for me, but to also consider having conversation with others, reaching out to others, and expressing my positive as well as negative feelings. It is brave and it is smart to see a mental health professional, not to wait till the time I am having a lot of crisis. I can reach out to a mental health professional the same way as I reach out to doctor when I'm having a fever, or or I'm having a cold or a cough, to ease that process.
Yes, ma'am, but it's not as simple as that we are going through a psychologist because everyone thinks that if we are mad, then only we can go through the psychologist and that's it. And if we are fever, we are generally our approach is we directly go to the doctors. But in case of mental health, we doesn't much care about that.
Yes,
How do you,
yes.
I
How
mean,
do you?
how do you feel that this should be done by this or we should regularly visit the doctor?
Well, I believe that it's not that you need to be insane, like you said, or I need to be mad to go to a mental health professional. Rather, that I want to share something with you. Then, in that case, I have a lot of individuals who are not. Sometimes having diagnosis of anxiety and depression, but also have emotional concerns, say anger outburst, or even rage, frustration, relationship difficulties, have difficulty in adjusting with others. So even for your other individuals or other difficulties, you can reach out to us. It's a normal conversation that we do. So do not wait till it gets worse, then only have to reach out. I think we are doing a good job over here by trying to eradicate that myth. What do you
Oh,
think?
I also think the same way.
Yeah.
Ma'am, is there any surge of mental health patient in this current situation?
There has been a lot of cases, a lot of more cases have been reported, especially with the anxiety and depression. Anxiety and depression have been rampant throughout the population. It's with adults and with children too. Then with the anxiety and the worry that what if my loved one gets in contact with COVID-19? How will I manage this? What will I do? Or say, suppose I am suffering through COVID, and what if my oxygen level drops? Then what will I do? So that panic and that fear has been instilled, or it is there with others.
Ma'am, when you first heard about this pandemic situation and you heard that there will be a lockdown, do you feel anxiety or depression?
Well, to be honest, I was anxious. I was tensed. It was something so sudden. And rather, that brings me to the concept of telepsychotherapy. I was not used to this. I was not used to what we're doing today, or how we're doing about this. It was much more of the physical, of being in person, face to face. But yes, pandemic has resulted in a big shift. We are doing everything virtual. It has its pros and it has its difficulties too. But yes, I was very anxious in the start, and there was an overwhelming response of so many people reaching out to us. And then there was a notion that I can't take a break. Me being a therapist, I need to be there, I need to be out there for others. How can I take a break for myself? How can I look at myself? But then I also started considering myself as human, that I can also go through a burnout, and that's fine, which happened at certain stages. So took a break, and then again got back to the situation. Then again being there for others, but accepting my feelings too. That is difficult for all of us.
Ma'am, do psychologists needs to see another psychologist in some cases?
Yes, we do. We also have an entire concept of supervisors, wherein we connect with our supervisors, wherein we have conversations about our clients and about ourselves too, if we are facing any difficulties, and how do we navigate through that problem. So peer supervision is as well there.
Ma'am, in the current situation, we are seeing that many of the young students or young generation is going through depression and or anxiety. What do you think that? What's the reason behind it?
I think
Is
there have been a lot of. You do finish. Do finish. I cut you
okay,
off.
okay. Ma'am, is the academic pressure or something else? What do you think about?
Yes, I think academic pressure is always there, but I would also suggest that it's also the way how I am dealing with the current situation. Say, for example, if I constantly look at the current situation as something that I need to achieve it, I need to master it, rather than taking an interest towards it. If I'm being much hard on myself, and thinking that, oh, I need to crack this, I have to be out there, I need to master it all, then I'm considering myself as a machine and not as human, that I am also I do have flaws, that it's okay if I make mistakes. Mistakes are a part of me, but mistakes do not define me. So it's okay to make mistakes. Taking a break too at times, I feel that also helps. Also sometimes looking at other people's success, thinking that what am I doing in myself, the self doubt creeps in. How am I going to do? Will I be stuck here? Will I be moving ahead? Will I be just doing what I'm doing? But then again, reorienting myself to the current situation, let me look at what all I have achieved, and then how do I move towards my long term goal, and then taking
Okay.
baby steps in that direction.
Ma'am, what do you think our parents' approach should be in this type of situations?
Are you talking
The
about students, parents?
yes, ma'am. Parents of students or the young generations who are going through these depressions and anxiety.
Well, I think depression and anxiety is very much real. So please reach out to everybody. Rather connect with either your relative or your friend or a mental health professional, and do a mental health check-in the way we do a physical health check-in. Let me just go and see if everything is okay or not with me. So just do a mental health check-in. That's what I would suggest. And also, um suggesting to parents that listening to your children or listening to your daughters and sons about their problems, and not just disregarding the existence of them, that they can happen to me and that's okay. My child going through depression is as okay as my child suffering through fever or having cold and cough. It's much more of the stigma that we've attached to it. What will others think of it? Then how will I cope from it? But what is more important for me right now, prioritizing that, and taking care of my children at this moment, how can I do that? Sometimes, also, if parents observe that there are changes in their children, behavioral changes. Say, for example, they're not going to school, not attending classes, and again feeling sad often, not having fun, not playing with their peers or friends, not having conversations, reduced appetite. So maybe striking a conversation as to what's happening in a very non-threatening way. I think that can help.
Okay. As we are only speaking about the mental health of the younger generation, what do you want to suggest about the older generation people? As they don't want to believe in that they are going through anxiety or depression.
Yes, yes. Um, well, I believe it's okay. It's fine for us to have certain feelings which maybe are new, or which may come to us in a sudden way, but accepting that this can happen to me, that is okay as well. Also, especially during these times, I would also suggest that accepting the untimely and giving a chance to others, talking about their fears, having a conversation with them, being connected with their loved ones, I think that will help in opening up to the idea of mental health as well, or concerns regarding that.
Ma'am, lastly, I want to ask, how do we stay optimistic in our life?
Yes, yes. How do we stay optimistic in our life? Or how do we go forward in our life? Well, let's talk about stress being a part of it. Let's accept that stress is going to be a part of it. Let me change my response pattern to it. So let me start estimating how will I manage this, because that will help me in leading or effectively leading a good life. Say, for example, being compassionate with myself, being kind to myself, the same way as I would be to somebody else in a similar situation. So, considering myself as human, that yes, it's okay if I make all the mistakes, and that's fine. My failures do not define me, failures are a part of me. Because we've seen frequently that whenever we do something bad, or we do something, we failed in certain tasks, or we've made some mistakes, we are like, oh, I can't accept this, how did this happen to me, this can never happen to me. So having a realistic orientation that it's okay, while I'm doing any task there are chances it may not work out, and that's okay too, it's a part of it. So, realistic expectations, not considering myself as a perfectionist, that I need to perfect everything. But let me enjoy the process and not focus on the consequences of it. Let me enjoy this conversation and not think about how it's going to be, for example. Something of this sort we can do.
Thank you, ma'am, for this great explanation. Ma'am, lastly, I want to ask that career as a psychologist, how is it? Is it fruitful or something?
Yes, it is. Rather, it's very fruitful and rewarding too. Yes, I agree. It's not as celebrated as many other careers that we have, and not as common. But yes, it's picking up too. It's picking up in its own space, and it's resulting in we are other, as mental health professionals, we've been helping a lot of other people, focusing on their difficulties and their concerns. So we're touching a lot of other lives too, and not just clinical psychology, but there are different branches of it too, developmental or even organizational for a fact, and many others as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ankit. It was great. It was having a good conversation. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Okay.